And you may go.
Greeting, young Padawans. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Andor Aftershow, Season 2, right here on JLJ Media. That's right, folks. We are back for yet another week breaking down episodes 4 through 6, right here on the best place on the internet to come for all your Star Wars Aftershow thoughts, JLJ Media. Don't come just for this. Come for all the other great media that's there as well too. But specifically tonight, we are glad you're here with us. The chat is up and running. The super chat's enabled. So feel free if you want to donate a few bucks to JLJ Media. Keep our TIE fighters in tip-top working order. It's hard maintaining an iron fist over a galaxy. A lot of expenses involved with that. So any bit that you can help, is most appreciated. I, of course, am not alone. This is a trio of Titans, least of all me, but the handsomest Titan of all, John Dunphy.
That's right. Right.
And
Hello, how are you?
so much better getting to see your handsome face. And then, of course, our Sith daddy, the man who's going to
Yeah.
be, get ready, sometime during this after show, he will get up at that microphone behind him and sing a little song, special dedicated to Andor, episodes 4 through 6.
Oh my
So
God. What?
weren't you supposed to wear a cape tonight? I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Okay. That's right. Oh my God. Okay. I got cape here.
I only
Yes.
just remember this. I love the I have a cape handy.
That's why James is the best.
I know he really is. He really is. Oh man, I'm so glad I just remembered that.
Oh, look at him.
Oh, I have to get a cape. I really have to get a cape.
He's gonna look dashing. I just know it.
He is. He is. I feel bad. I made him get up. I feel bad.
But it's gonna be worth it when we see him in this cape.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh, here he
Look
comes.
at the other side. Get the other side. I actually wore this on the show with Ryan Nielsen and Steph Sabra years ago.
Oh, nice.
So
I feel like I want to start humming the Imperial March. Dun
Mm.
dun 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 dun. Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh! She's
excellent.
everybody's Sith daddy tonight.
See now, yeah, now you really are the Sith daddy.
I am. I forgot. I had props. I had all kind of stuff nearby, Frank. Just saying, the character I probably have it in my closet. There we go. There I am. I forgot I had
Oh,
it.
thank God.
The one, the only, the inimitable, the founder of JLJ Media, James Lott Jr.
It's me, bitches. Hi, Star Wars people. Yes, I forgot to wear my cape. That's right. I wear my cape today.
Look at him. Oh, yeah.
So
I am your fathers. I'm your father to everybody. Yes. I'm your daddy.
Yeah, letting that bad boy side out tonight. I'm excited.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, so we'll be breaking down episodes 4 through 6, as I said. But before we get into more detailed observation, John Dunphy, overall, what did you think?
I loved it. I mean, I've loved the whole season so far. It's wild that we're 2 weeks into the debut of season 2, but we're all, halfway through the season. That's wild. Um, I think the first 3 episodes I loved. I don't know. So part of me feels I like these 3 episodes even more. Um, Cyril has turned out to be quite a spy, huh? Bix having a lot of troubles, getting to see more of Gorman and some of their people. I also feel like it's interesting. Luthen is still such a great character. I love Luthen, but you can see that even he is getting a little more desperate and stuff like that. It feels like some of the arguments with him and Clea that they were having. But which, by the way, I just want to say one other thing about Clea, who I know is really like a secondary character, but like she is such a badass. And it's interesting to me that like Luthen can pretty much just push around anybody, but not her. Um, and I really liked seeing her at that party in episode 6, which I know we'll get to. But yeah, those are just some of my observations from these 3 episodes. I thought they were great, and I really liked them. And I thought the music was obviously fantastic as always. Really gets you into Oh, also Saw Gerrera is one of the most terrifying characters in Star Wars ever. Oh my God. That was one other thing. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
James, for you, before you give your kind of overview thoughts, in addition to that, how well did you think seeing our first transition going from year to year uh, worked for you as a viewer?
They did a great job. The transition was great because having the video chat of mom talking to Cyril explained a bunch of stuff. This was his
Yeah.
story, kind of. Because I was like, no. Then I was like, oh, okay, they're fine. So there's some explanation. There was like, and you did what? And you went, you're not on Coruscant anymore, and you're on like. So it's kind of like, oh, we're here now. And then the whole Bix and that kind of dreaming of the doctor and the guy that was doing all that stuff. It was kind of like we're getting some idea now, and the tone was set. Like I think the transition, we don't know what happened to a couple people, but we'll get there, I'm sure. But this kind of like, it was a little more seamless than I thought it would be.
Nice. John, did you feel you were missing anything by that 1 year jump, or do you feel like, no, I'm up to speed on things that I can fill in the gaps in my head about what
Yeah,
happened here?
I was totally okay with the transition to the following year because I that was something that we talked about last week a lot about they had to really nail that, and I thought they did. Like I didn't I really didn't have any issues jumping a full year ahead. And I think, like James said, it helped a lot, that conversation between Cyril and his mom. They just it just felt very natural. It didn't feel like anything felt like we missed anything or anything was rushed or anything like that. I thought it was very well done. So I
And
think
later they had that
delivered.
thing about Moran and what was going on there, and later on I think it was episode 5. So it's like they explained stuff. There's some stuff they explained that was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
now I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if it would be better to, my note to Tony Gilroy is how at the end of movies like Animal House or whatever, where they do freeze frames and they just they bring up the text saying everything that, happened to that person. Just do that here at the beginning of each show.
I
Just
like that.
bring us up a free, some kind of little laughing freeze, and then during this past year, uh,
I like that. Actually, I like that. It's kind of funny.
Cyril drank some blue
Yeah.
milk.
He did though. He had that cereal. He did. All right, we'll get that. I was so excited. I like the tone of these 3 episodes. The ante is up, and I felt it was a different tone than the first 3, and I felt anxious these whole 3. I really felt I felt the tension of. This is one of the things I was thinking about just in general. I was thinking over like, how do you live where you're always watching over your shoulder? That must be just everybody is. Like they're all every single person, no matter what station they are in this, wherever they are, they're having to watch what they say, how they move, how they look. It's like all the time. And there were some great scenes throughout. Revolution. You think I'm crazy? I am crazy. Revolution is not for sane people. What a great line. Bix, just like medicating yourself during this whole thing. Later, I think it was in episode 6. Is there something she should know? She needs to know. I care for her. Like there's some great lines that there's humans behind this whole situation. It's not just fight. We always just see fight, but there are actual people, and it's affecting them. And I just felt my note is just tension. I just felt like I felt so much tension this time around that they're getting closer and closer to where we know they're going. But I just thought this is crazy. And again, cinematography amazing, music amazing, costuming amazing. Yes, and everybody's talking about this, but it didn't matter to me that Senator Organa is now played by Benjamin Bratt. I mean, it's fine.
Right.
It's interchangeable. They're interchangeable to me. Whatever. The other guy was fine too. Whatever. It was fine. It was a brief scene anyway. Who cares? But I just thought again, it's a lot of walking. These people walk all the time. These goddamn scenes. Everybody's walking. It's a long walk. I'm tired just watching these episodes. So that's my review of what.
Yeah. Can I make one other
no.
observation too? Something that I really like, actually, that I discovered this week that I like about these 3 episode drops per week. So there are definitely pros and cons, but the way that they've sort of designed this season, where it's 3 episodes a week, and each 3 episode drop is a year's worth of is a year or whatever, or a really important moment in that year. They've kind of set up this season where like it's almost not even possible to have one of those like filler episodes where it's just kind of boring and nothing happens. It feels like every episode, all 12 episodes of this season are going to feel like super high stakes, where it's not there's no like really dull slow moments. And I think that was like really, they have a very like um difficult job to do. They've got to get a lot of information, a lot of things in there in just 3 episodes per week. Um, so I kind of like, because of that, I like the layout of these 3 episode drops. It kind of helps make every episode feel more exciting.
Well, it's gonna be interesting because now we're gonna jump into the year.
Right.
So, but what's funny is the way it ended and began. You can it's a complete story. The ending is really good too. The ending is really good also. So
totally.
It's a complete end of a chapter. And so now we're going. Now we're going to leave that all behind, and now we're going a year later. I'm like that. I'm actually interested. What's going to be like in a year? Because will Bixby totally addicted? Will she be off of it by then? Because she seems stronger at the end because she got revenge. Like I don't know. It's just kind of like who's going to still be together, who's not. I'm really curious how this is going to work the next set of 3. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about Bix, because I feel like for me, of all the characters from the first week, she was the one that I was not most concerned about, but I was just like, I don't know. And certainly this episode gave me reason to like, oh, are we just gonna have is Bix kind of being kind of just stuck in this kind of survivors trying to overcome this horrible ordeal? And I feel like you never want to diminish somebody that went through a horrible experience, but from James and I's time of doing stuff. So like there's only with so many with such a small amount of show episodes, I feel like there's only so much of like, is that just going to be Bix's? Is that are we going to be seeing a perpetual her dealing with this trauma for the whole time?
Right.
So John, were you concerned about that as well? And were you surprised by how this episode ended because of that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great how episode 6 ended, and I felt like, all right, this is going to be a turning point here for Bix. Um, but I don't know if I was necessarily worried about her like this season now just kind of being in that survivor state, like you said, just because of the fact that like, yes, it's a small amount of episodes, but it covers a pretty extensive period of time. Like it might only be 12 episodes, but we're talking about years of time here. So the fact that a year from now, like she might be totally recovered, or maybe she's gotten worse somehow, and it's like we have no idea, because each episode, 3 episode drop is separated by so much time. So I felt like I wouldn't have been surprised if she was still in that state at the end of episode 6, and then we found out in episode 7 she was totally better, even without seeing that, because a year has passed and a lot can happen in a year. So I wasn't really worried it would have sucked. I agree that if that's just what her character was for the rest of the season, but I wasn't really that worried. I might have been more worried if she ended this episode 6 in that same state and then picked up in episode 7 and was the exact same way or something like that, but I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. And then it turned out that we probably won't even have to worry about that anyway, because it seems like she's kind of coming out of whatever has been troubling her so much recently.
I mean, because James, I feel like anytime if you're going to have put a character through that, you're hoping that in some way it's going to pay off, especially in a series with so many multiple story threads, that it somehow kind of pays off in some fashion or affects something within the story. So for you, James, were you happy with the kind of twist? Were you satisfied? Like we've seen enough of Bix trying to deal with this trauma, and so seeing what she does at the end of episode 6 was a nice, hopefully pivot point for this character moving forward.
Well, it's just funny that they let that, Cassian was like, okay, let's go get him. I mean, she's having dreams, nightmares, whatever you want to call them. And so he wanted to help his woman. And so I feel like he did it for her, just to put her at ease, and she got revenge and the whole thing. It was effed up, all that. I don't know. So what's funny is I think of Dallas and Sue Ellen, the character Sue Ellen Ewing, folks who didn't watch the show, she was a drunk for half the series. And you play that same beat after a while. There's nothing more exciting about it. You hit rock like kind. And she had said the famous dream season, where Bobby was like, "Good morning" in the shower, and he said the whole season's a dream. She had said she talked to the president. I told them I can't be drunk. He's like, guys, I got sober that season, and she had a whole new thing to play. So I think for as an actor, as a writer, it's much more exciting to see them sober and kind of maybe teetering on the edge than just playing drugged out or drugged out person. So I kind of was relating to that with Bix, going, okay, we saw this. We had to see the human side of her. She was bored. She was upset. She was having nightmares. She was alone, most of the time. Because Cassie, the revolution, it's like it's busy. They got things to do. And that she's getting her strength that works. Now she slides back, whatever. If it's an interesting story, I will follow it wherever it goes. To me, her sobriety or whatever, for me, if it's a good story and you tell it right, I will go with it wherever. Like I said, we deal with soaps all the time, so sometimes it's not good. But sometimes it can be really good if it's told well. But I think for this one, we gave her, because the first the first grouping, she was okay. This one made her strong in the end, and I think, and she got revenge. So she got some kind of, like Cassian was when the camera work when he pulls back and you see Cassian walking next to her again. I like that.
Bix has had it rough, man. Oof.
You don't want to. It sort of really puts shines a light, I guess I should say, about how traumatic this interrogation technique is that this doctor's invented. So I mean, by seeing Bix carrying this trauma for so long, you're like, man, that's a really messed up thing. So while yes, you want to see that, but the other hand, you're like, oh boy, I'm glad. I'm also happy that she's at least taking some kind of agency in her life to be able to do something about it and finally, get that doctor and take care of him for once and for all.
Well, Frank, it's one of those things where I almost forgot that stuff happened to her. I almost forgot that stuff that was happening to her, that she was kind of left behind and taken stuff. So you like a good revenge scene, of course you do. You love it, and that's part of the bad guys who he's not like the supreme leader or nothing. He's not Palpatine or shit, but it's like he's part of this movement. He's doing his job, in quotes, folks who can't see me yet, who's listening to this. He's doing his job. Like, it's like you took the humanity out of yourself by just doing this job for whatever cause you want. She's reminding you, we're human, and this is what you're gonna get to now. And so I loved it. I thought that was great.
I thought this was a very satisfying revenge moment too, by the way, because there are a lot of people in the Empire that I feel are just doing their job, and not all of them are necessarily believers in the Empire, but they're scared, so they just do what they're told to stay alive. This Dr. Gorst, this guy, he actually enjoys this, which makes him truly evil. So,
well, I think the other big thing that we see over the course of these 3 episodes is that, it may be relatively easy, perhaps, to try to start a rebellion, but to maintain rebellion is tough. I mean, these are all, as James is saying, these are human beings who are dealing with all sorts of issues, both personal, both stuff that's happened to them while they try to accomplish various missions for Luthen or anybody else in the rebellion. And you just see that, boy, Luthen is just trying to keep this thing together, and and everybody's getting frayed.
Yes, it's Frank. What it is it's showing that a lot of things we see movies and stuff. It's like if you're having a rebellion, we don't know how they got there. So it's like we don't know how they got there, who died, who betrayed, all this stuff. We're seeing that. We're seeing that there's all these pieces, and there's different rebellions throughout the galaxy, right? Obviously, we're seeing that. And then we have ego. I mean, there were a couple of shocking. When Homeboy shot Homeboy instead of Homeboy, I was like, oh my god, that got shot on that one. But there's something. It's like you're seeing that it's not easy to maintain a rebellion again, have to stay underground about it and quiet about it, in the shadows about it, when all you want is this to be over. You want justice. You want to overthrow, but you can't just walk in and do that. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of years, and patience. Patiences are tested.
Yeah.
So I feel like these 3 episodes showed that as part of the tension.
No, it's
Uh,
great. I agree. I totally agree. Because it's like it's even what you were saying about keeping a rebellion together and like maintaining it. Like seeing Cassian in the first 3 episodes get taken captured by that other rebel cell, and then having Wilmon, kind of being held hostage now by Saw Gerrera. It's like even the rebellion itself, they none of them can trust each other. It's like how do you maintain something like this? And Luthen somehow like keeps it all together, even though we see him struggling with that in these episodes. But it's crazy.
It's just funny to me. I don't think you guys feel this way, but I feel like right now Cassian is a supporting character at the moment. I feel like all the other characters are really getting to shine, and we're seeing all this stuff. And I feel like Cassian's there. He got to be play this designer and all that to kind of get stuff done. But I was like, so far I haven't seen much from him.
Yeah,
Really,
that's true. It's
yeah.
true.
I'm not upset about it. I'm just saying it's really interesting. I feel like the other characters have much more stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be curious to see if it, because I also felt like, sure, we saw maybe a bit more of Cassian in season one, but he also was kind of not.
Right.
He didn't really become super interesting until he got like on that prison planet, and he needed to escape out of that prison.
Oh my God.
And then I felt like, whoa, then all right, Cassian, we're starting to see it. Starting to see you come together. Yeah, because that kind of ties us into kind of like the Luthen and Cassian relationship. John, how are you viewing that relationship? I mean, I mean, Luthen's a leader. Is how confident do you think he is in Cassian?
I think he does still have a lot of confidence in Cassian. I don't know. It's such a weird relationship, right? I mean, I feel like this has been such a roller coaster where it's like, it's just, um, Andor being recruited by him first and not really being sure if he should trust him or not. And then they pull off this big heist and in the first season, and Andor comes in and says, all right, either bring me in or kill me. And we saw a reference to that very line in these episodes.
Yes, he did.
And
He did.
yeah,
Yes.
and it's like it's just been such a complex, interesting relationship to watch because it feels like they definitely, I think, trust each other and respect each other, but like I don't think they really like each other very much. Um, and Yeah, I don't know. I just it's just it's such a weird thing. And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
Well, because I feel like Luthen, it seems like it really in these 3 episodes, you start to see that
Oh no.
is
We've got a
he has nothing
oh, he's back.
else.
He's back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Luthen's burned his life for this, so he's got nothing else. So it's like this has to work. There's no choice for him. So when he starts seeing people, whether questioning or not being as dedicated as he is or anything, I guess I could feel like why he's just like, no, just do it. Just do it. Let's just do it. We can't wait
Well,
3 months anymore. No more 3 months to contact me. You gotta contact me sooner. Things are happening now.
Right.
hello to Tony Moore, who's in the chats,
Oh,
and,
Tony.
and Duan. Hello, Duan, and the other 3 people who are watching. All you guys.
a celebrity in our midst.
We have a celebrity in the chat. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we uh because with Luthen, it is interesting. So, James, we saw last in the first batch of 3 episodes, how Luthen kind of saw a Mon Mothma's buddy, uh, and that he was expendable. We got to get rid of him. He's boozing it up. We got to get rid of him. And then you've got Bix when Cassian's out of town and he drops by and sees the little vial of drugs that she's using. Yeah, I mean, he even talks to her. It's like I don't know. I had little faith in him. How did you feel? How Luthen feels Bix as opposed to Mon Mothma's pal.
It's funny. Luther's a character who, again, they use. I feel like they don't use him a lot, but they use him well. The character, they bring him in for certain situations, and he's very clear. Like John said, he's very clear about the missions at hand. I think that comes with being older, a little more experienced. Uh, it's very much like he's this is his last hurrah, basically for him. Like I'm sure I don't know how old he is in the show, how they run that, but it's his last hurrah. So he wants us to go right. And like I said, he was kind of proud of his girl later. He was like, okay, girl, you worked it out. He kind of a little chuckle at the end. So it's kind of like, and Cassian, I think I'm with you, John. I think he likes Cassian, but Cassian's a little loose cannon a little bit. And that's always hard to manage, right, Frank? You're managing a loose cannon. I mean, they're both passionate about this, but their demeanors are different. That's why I liked when they had the scenes in the shop, and he was pretending he was I love that name. What was the name again? The person, Verdon or
yeah, his fashion designer.
Yeah, the name.
Varian Sky.
Yeah, Varian Sky. I know a guy named Varian. His name's Varian Sandoval. Hi, Varian. I like the name.
All right,
same initials. I know. But very much it was like that outfit he had on. His hair was all slicked back and pompadourish a little bit. I liked it. I liked that whole thing, and they showed us another side of him where he dealt with his daughter, and then he dealt with him. Like we saw, like he's like okay, and Luton's like, but Luton's very much he's straight and narrow for it. He's very much like we have a mission, we got shit to do, and don't deviate.
Yeah, and I feel like when there are people in the picture who are like Luthen identifies as a problem, right? Like, so Mon Mothma has this friend Tay who's starting to cause problems. I think it's a little easier for Luthen to eliminate Tay and get rid of him from the picture because Mon is stuck there now. Mon cannot back out from this.
Right.
But when it comes to Cassian, Luthen knows that if he does the same thing to Bix that he did to Tay in like taking them out of the picture, he's going to lose Cassian. There's no way that Cassian is going to stay loyal to him. So he can't really pull the same move on Bix that he did with Tay. So
that's right. And also, I mean, we even see Cassian talking about that where he feels Luthen is losing the human part of this whole rebellion, where it's like these are people. You gotta.
He said we're not droids, right?
Yeah,
he said we're not droids. They're not droids. That's right. Excuse me.
We need help. We need compassion at some points. And Luthen's like, no, man, I burned my soul.
He did. He's like, I don't have time for this. You don't got time for this. We got rebellion to happen. Shit.
This time, sadly, we're not treated to an awesome Luthen speech.
No, I know. Oh, I know we didn't get one. No.
We see
halfway through. We've had less of those good speeches and monologue. Not that I'm complaining because the season's been great, but I feel like the first season was marked with these like really good monologues from certain characters, and we haven't had as much of that in this season. So,
but you know what we're getting? Like I said, I named like 5 quotes when we opened when you asked earlier. There's some hidden gems in this dialogue. I'm finding for me. I'm seeing hidden gems as we go along in the dialogue. So maybe I'll take that.
Yeah.
Oh. And by that you mean the Adam Sandler movie?
It is.
I didn't realize.
Relate Adam Sandler movies to Star Wars. Exactly. That's exactly Frank right now. Happy Gilmore, all of them. Just exactly.
Adam could you ever picture Adam Sandler doing a cameo in a Star Wars movie?
Oh well, at this point, yes. You had Urkel
and Jack Black
and Danny Trejo. Oh yeah,
and Lizzo.
I can see throwing out a cameo to Homeboy. Why not? Shit.
So we do have the relationship between Cassian and Bix kind of developing through this. I mean, sharing a bed, but Bix has got her nightmares. She's sleepwalking, sleep picking up a gun, sleep possibly firing it until Cassian stops her.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's medicating, as we've already talked about. Uh,
No.
we've had that relationship contrasted with Cyril and Deidre, where uh, it is a. I was curious to see what this relationship was going to be like once we see
Yes.
Cyril come back from his new mission,
Yes.
trying to infiltrate and be that bad rebel for the Gorman people on behalf of the Empire. But when he comes back to Coruscant and reunites with Deidre, uh, I uh,
Frank, turn
go
off
ahead.
the lights.
Yes.
Turn off the lights.
Not the first time I've heard you say that to me, James.
I know. I'm like, turn off the lights. And it was like an hour. I was like, oh, I can do that. I can work it out in an hour. I don't need time. John, you get a little older, you don't need much time anymore. He's like, just give me a good 20 minutes. I'll be good. I'll be good.
I feel like, yeah, it was only an hour. I feel like teacher was like, all right, well, this will only take 10 minutes. So,
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. We got work to do. We got work to do. But we see him saying, turn off the lights. I was like, oh my God. So I chuckled. I did chuckle. But no, but
oh, yeah.
earlier when he was like, you gave up the girl and you had a relationship, I was like, no, I felt myself going, no, they broke up. Oh, he had a lot of coming in. I'm so glad they didn't break up.
Oh, come on. You didn't really buy that, did you?
I did because it's been a year. Only because it's been a year. I'm thinking something they must have broke up because of their allegiance to the empire. It must be something must have came like I don't think they hate each other, but they had to break up or something. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Well, we find Cyril on Gorman running an Imperial facility over there. Uh, and he's being, doing a lot of that spy craft, which he seems to really enjoy getting a chance to do. Taking the string and tying out outside his door as he leaves, just to make sure see if somebody broke in. Which I do love that. I want to know where he got that little string attachment. Where just like here, this is you can buy this at your some storefront there. Gorman was selling it like. Take these two little metal studs and stick them to your doorway, and you can tie string behind it and see if somebody sneaks in. Oh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
wow, it's a very specific need for that little metal thing. Like otherwise, what was that little those little metal sticks there for?
I also feel like if I was walking up to that door, I would notice that.
Yeah, yeah, especially if you're the type of person that would be trying to sneak into his place without being
Right.
detected.
Wouldn't you like look at the door you're breaking into?
Yeah, just get in there. He doesn't care. Just get in. Doesn't matter. He's dumb. Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
well, it could have been that dumb kid that brought the blasters to their whole mission at the end, but that I would believe. So,
We do see Cyril. It is a role as an Imperial trying, speaking out, whether in public, uh, or at work, just so the word gets out that hey, Cyril's not like this really awful guy. He's a great dude. He'd be somebody that's at his places in the Empire. Be great to have like on our side for any kind of perhaps rebel factions that they're getting involved with. Uh, and Cyril does get the nod. Uh, James, as a person who's founded many revolutions,
Yeah.
joined others,
Yeah.
uh, how badly would you recruit somebody like Cyril for your rebellion?
Well, he is very what's the word we use? He's dedicated, he's loyal, he's eager. So he's a bit of a screw up. That's only because he had his mother just like hammering at him. She's a piece of
Oof.
work. And when they go, the mother's people they're listening, and the mother's a little much. I started laughing. I go, she is. The actress is really wonderful playing her. Um,
yeah.
I think he just I think he's starting to gain more and more confidence. So I like it. I'd hire him. Would you hire him, Frank? Would you hire him, John? You would hire him, right?
Oh, I mean, of course. I
I
mean,
feel like I feel like Cyril's come a long way, honestly. I was impressed with some of his spy work in these episodes, and I don't think the Cyril from season one, what is it, Morlana one, the
Okay.
corpos. I don't think that version of Cyril is able to do what Cyril in season 2, episodes 4 through 6 is doing. So
Well, I mean, the most telling thing is like, even though we know it's already a very uh, super secret plan for what's going to happen on on the planet, like what Deidre told Cyril that he's doing, and what Cyril's going to do when he finds out what's really going on, and what he's really helping to foment on that planet. Because it feels like, as he said, as he says, as he's talking with Deidre and her supervisor, like he's like, "Hey, can I say this is like the best day ever?" Like he's got this like this feeling of like, oh, I'm actually involved and I'm like a key player in big stakes in the Empire. But I think he's going to quickly realize when things start going south in the last episodes of the season, like how much devastation that he's partly responsible for. I wonder how that'll
yeah,
affect him.
and he's really just a pawn. I mean, he's because it's very clear that no one in the Empire outside of the ISB and right like Deirdre and Partagaz, the supervisor, they seem to be the only ones that actually really know what he's doing. So
Hmm.
like he's in a position where if the rebels that are trying to get him to work with them find out that he's not really with them, they'll kill him. If the Empire catches him doing anything on this mission that like is aiding the rebels in any way, even if he's not actually trying to work with them, the Empire is going to kill him, you know? So it seems like he's kind of just out there, and it's like, all right, well, if you're caught, it's that kind of thing where if you're caught, we're going to take no responsibility for you and you're just going to be killed. So, like, the people that he's working with, like, that's the same thing that, you know, in the spy world, that's what they tell you
That's
here,
true.
right? Right? It's like, listen, if you get caught behind enemy lines, like, we can't come and save you. So, it's like he's walking this fine line where, like, he's trying to work for the Empire, but they will not claim him if he gets caught, and they'll let him get killed. But also, if the rebels catch him, same outcome. So it's like, and he's really just being used as a pawn, and it's I don't know. I always love in a good Star Wars story, like somebody who defects from the Empire to whether it's, Finn in the sequel trilogy or somebody like that, or in Rebels, Agent Callus. That's one of my favorites, actually. But like I would love to see Cyril actually switch sides, but he's probably just gonna die because we didn't see him in Rogue One.
Yeah. That's the thing too. We're watching this. Okay, who makes it? Who was there again? It's. I'm watching it that way too. Is that funny?
That's right. I mean, it's been so long since I've seen the movie that
Right. Like,
as we get closer and closer to the movie in the series, it's going to be harder for me to like, oh yeah, that person was in the movie. All right, cool.
Yeah.
but we're doing the rewatch afterwards, so we will be able to say who's where.
That's true. Uh,
Yeah.
so I asked both of you because yes, yeah, I mean, it hasn't said, hasn't told Cyril exactly what he's getting involved with because of the whole secrecy issue. Uh, but they were involved before this even she even knew that this was going to be a plan, that she was going to be pulled into this. She didn't even really want to even do this until, her supervisor said like, no, 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 this is forget trying to find Andor. This is,
Yeah, this is a gift.
yeah, Krennic asked for you specifically, so you do not say no to this and go run with this. How do you view their relationship? Do you feel in its own dysfunctional way that there is love there? Turn off the lights, James.
As I tell, like, there is. I think it's their kind of love. I think love, Frank. There's all kinds of ways we'll show they love each other. It may not be and everybody's the same way. So I think they're together forever and ever. Too hard. So I think they're together. I think
But
so.
John, would you feel the same way too? The moment that Cyril, whether his cover's blown or whether he does something, he is trapped on Gamora, and you know, is she going to realize? Is she willing to sacrifice something to help him, or is he an expendable, something expendable to her?
Wow, they're a very awkward couple, and honestly, I could see them both being willing to sacrifice each other. Yeah, I think I could see them both. I could see her definitely being like, no, um, Yeah, I have feelings for him, but the mission comes first, and I could see him feeling the same way. And I do wonder in a way if something happened in this year. I mean, maybe not, maybe it's not important. Maybe we didn't see it. But like there's something to be said. I think there's a scene between like Cyril and his mom in here where she's always talking about like the how he's always gloomy and he's so quiet and he's and like just the brooding and all that stuff she's like talking about with him. And it felt like that scene where Deirdre was sticking up for him in front of his mom felt a lot more passionate than the greeting they gave each other when he came back to Coruscant in these episodes. And it was just kind of like a small kiss on the cheek and then like all right, turn out the lights. All right, we have an hour. Yeah, turn out the lights. And then even after that moment where he was like, "Well, I will it spoil it if I say this is the best day of my life?" And she was like, "It's good to see you happy." And it's like that almost sounds like an opinion his mom has this because she thinks of
Right.
him as this brooding, quiet. And I'm like, did maybe over the year that we weren't watching the show, their relationship was it not really working out so well? So, and that's part of the reason why he like agreed to leave or whatever. Like, how did he actually get to Gorman? Like, why did he go there? Like, why did he even agree that I'm gonna now take this job on this whole other planet, somewhere else in the galaxy, live all alone? Like, I know it's probably a shot for him to get back like some glory, maybe after the embarrassment that he had. But at the same time, it feels like something else to me, in my opinion, like drove him there. And it just I don't know. It feels like maybe their relationship hasn't been the best. Not that it would ever be like a normal relationship because they're a couple of weirdos, but um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, for me, I feel like Deidre would cut her losses with Cyril and hang him out to dry, or consider him like expendable, rather than Cyril feeling that same way. I feel like,
No, you're right. You are right. He was obsessed with her in season
yeah,
one.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, I'll be very curious to see just how cold-hearted she will be, because I think Cyril takes this mission because he thinks, one, it's like him getting a chance to to be a power player of sorts in the Empire. Like, oh, finally, yes. I'm not, sitting here in some kind of data management center anymore. It's like I'm like part of the action now. I'm out there making a difference.
Right. He's getting meetings with the ISB
Yeah,
head where the guy's telling him excellent work. That's his
yeah,
dream.
yeah. It's like, well, heck yeah. Thank you, Deirdre, for letting me do this.
But he came from this. Apparently, his mother always undercut him. Didn't think he was worth enough, So he's had to fight that his whole life. Unfortunately, it's for the bad side. But I'm kind of rooting for him. It's so weird. I don't want to root
I
for him.
know.
I want him to. It's like they did such a great job with this. I'm like, I want him to be okay. I want him to
I
like
know.
face by the
Yeah.
bad people.
No, you're so right, and because I find myself feeling the same way, and I'm like God, I want Cyril to be a good guy so bad. I
Right.
I want to get a year from now, and he's like actually feeding information to the rebels. Like that's like I want that so bad, and like it's very clear that the Empire doesn't care about you. Your mother hates you. Like
Right.
just and like he finds this group on Gorman, this group of rebels, and it seems like they all accept him and like they treat him
Yep.
already as strangers, treat him
Right.
better than the Empire or his mother ever has. And
Yes.
it's like just switch sides, dude, please.
Yeah.
Like that's
Well, we certainly hear him in the conversation with his mom that she is not thrilled that he is now on Gamora, and like gave
Yeah.
up his great spot in Coruscant for
Yeah.
this. But he does go back to pay her a visit.
That little nook. That
That little nook,
same
and
nook.
it's like
yeah,
all
with the
they eat
cereal.
is just like cereal, that blue milk. It's
And
like,
that blue milk.
oh
I
man,
just started laughing. But I love that. But see, Frank, I love that we went back to where it began.
yeah.
And the way it's shot, that shot of just them in that there's a little thing, there's stuff around, but like there's a little thing, the blue milk sitting there, she's on one side, he's on the other. And he's just like, he's this guy. I love he's smart ass with her. Just like, okay, girl. Just while he's eating that nasty cereal.
What I mean, I feel like that's part of the perk of being able to go back home to visit, is that, your mom or whichever loved one might be there at home, will cook you something that, like a childhood favorite, or like your favorite thing, or you're there. That's great. It's like, nope, Cyril's mom, hey, let's just
Yeah,
Let's just
not
get the
eating.
cereal and the blue milk, baby.
That blue milk. I
Yeah.
had it. I had the blue milk. I told you, I had the blue milk.
You,
What else?
but wait, I can't remember, James. Did it taste any different, or it just
Didn't you
looked
say it was very sweet?
It's
I
very
thought you said it was
sweet.
like,
It
yeah.
was sweet. It was like nothing because it had the consistency of just like regular milk, but it was very I was like a little too sweet for me.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan, Frank.
Well, it's usually better if you get it straight from the teat.
The
Yeah.
tea. That's what I thought. That's what I see. That's what I see.
You got to be able to milk it yourself, James. That's when it's
James's
right.
milk. Never mind. Um, Let me discuss my milking skills. Thank you very much.
So I really thought I was like, oh man, are we setting up for a possible Cyril and Andor cross or connecting here in this episodes?
Mm.
Because Luthen, once he hears that Gamora is possibly in play, he's like, well, we got to find out what the deal is with this. But I can't go there. So Cassian, go in my stead and find out, just to observe, see what the deal is, see if this is really in play, if this is kind of something that they would want to be involved with. So Cassian goes, leaves Bix behind. One, John, I want to know, like, I want to be the job in a rebellion for me would be the guy that just records people's cover stories that they can play in their earpiece as they're traveling to whatever the mission is. What a sweet gig. He just sat, whoever this voice was, just sat there and just broke down everything for
I'm
Cassian.
assuming, yeah. Well, so when Cassian gets to that little shop or whatever, that little place, and he gets like his equipment or whatever, and gets his cover story, he goes in and they do the whole, you have friends on Gorman, and like I have friends everywhere, and that guy comes out. It literally looked like the Biff Tannen
Yeah.
of the Star Wars galaxy. Um, but yeah, that was funny. And the voice did not match. If the voice is the same guy that walked out, it did not match at all. But
Yeah.
it was way higher than what I expected. But but yeah, great job. Honestly, I'd love that.
What a great gig. I just here, just read this. This is all you got to do. You have
Yeah,
a soothing voice and people like to hear information from you. So that's your contribution to the rebellion.
That's
But
a great gig, actually. Would be a great gig.
right.
Cassian does travel to the planet under the guise of being a fashion designer. There you go. John, the name again?
Varian Sky.
Marion Sky, that's the name. Yeah.
Great outfit though. He looked nice. It's been a while since we've seen like Cassian looking nice and dapper.
I'd wear that. I'd wear that. That suit
You'd
he had
rock it.
on. I would absolutely wear that.
I can see you in it. I can totally see you in it.
Slick my hair back the way he had it.
Mine slick back already. Slick back.
There you go.
I'd wear his outfit. I thought it was cute.
When we started, James, when you started, like, we have Cyril going to be at that planet. We know Cassian's going to be traveling there. Were you thinking we were going to get some sort of run in between the two of them, or were you like, nah, it's too early for them to have any sort of crossover at this point?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if I thought about that. That's so funny. I don't know. I don't know. Because this whole thing it's a year later. It's not too soon. For us, it could be too soon. For us, it's
Yeah.
the review. But if they're playing it as, there's a new audio drama called Montecito, and they said their first episode, they started mid-stream. So you're like mid-conversation, mid-action. And so it's kind of like they did on purpose. It's kind of like, so like people have their lives, and now we're jumping in. So I felt like this is a year later. We're jumping in. So we don't know what, they could have met already before, or maybe this has been a year in the making. So the year thing really changes things, Frank. It really does change my viewing of the show.
That's true.
It's also the year thing, by the way, is also interesting to me because, like, I don't know if either of you would have any interest in this whatsoever, and I don't know if I even have interest in it, but it does leave the possibility that there could be some sort of like animated show in the future called Andor, where we see more sort of like stories of like, okay, what has happened in these years that we're missing? But because we got characters like Andor, like Luthen, like Saw, like Is there a possibility that we could ever see another sort of medium, maybe through animation, where we get more episodes of some of these missions that they've been on and things that have happened in this rebellion that are like, well, because like we said, some of these like the Clone Wars, Rebels fill in the gaps sometimes, right, between the prequels and the original trilogy. Um, is there a world in which like an animated show could fill in the gaps that are these years that we're missing? And then we just have 3 episodes of a few days, and then a whole year goes by. Like, is that something you would have any interest in at all that you think could be like valuable or worth watching?
Uh, I mean, I think so. I mean, especially when you look at stuff like K2SO,
Yeah,
because even Tony Gilroy said uh, like if you go back and you watch Rogue One, you'll see that he is left out of stuff in there because that is just a big, it's a complicated piece of machinery to start moving around in your
right.
scenes and stuff. But in an animated show, much easier to have K2SO be a more prominent player in stuff.
Yeah. And as we've seen, like the animation has gotten so good that I
Yeah.
would not mind if they use the same animation that they did in the last season of the Clone Wars and stuff. Um, and I'm sure there's even improvements since then. Um, I would not mind at all seeing like like an animated show of Andor. That's maybe we're getting what 3 episodes a week that spans 4 years. If we get 4 seasons of just what fills in the gaps of what we didn't see in this
Yeah.
live action show of Andor, I'd be interested in that honestly.
Yeah,
I would
because
I'll see Luthen and Andor and Bix and all them in animation. I'm down.
I also feel like I mean, yeah, and who knows what Tony Gilroy's future in Star Wars is, but it certainly feels like after finishing this, he's down to take a break, work on some other projects that are outside of Star Wars. But I feel like he's got this great writers' room that he's worked with over the course of 2 seasons that are fully steeped into this world, into these characters, that even if he took just like an executive producer role in an animated series and tapped one of these writers to kind of show run the show, I would I'd feel confident that they could deliver on all those little gaps in all in each of the years.
Yeah, I'd be totally down. You could do
I
one
think,
season.
I think you guys are all crazy talk. What are you talking about? That's what the Sith Lord says. You're crazy.
Wow, you wouldn't want to watch? You wouldn't watch that show?
No, I don't care.
I would watch it in a heartbeat.
No, we don't need to know nothing. It all happened.
I just want more, 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 more. Give it to me.
Yeah,
Give me, give me more. Give me
give me
more.
give me, give me, give me, give me, or give me, give me, give me. That's all we can say. Don't get on the rights to it. On the rights.
Yeah, so I mean, I know K2SO is coming for us at some point in this series, but I also know that he's going to be like from what I read at Tony Gilroy, that he's like they're saving it up for one, kind of big thing. So I'm assuming it's going to be the last 3 episodes that
Yeah.
that, that we'd see him involved somehow.
Yeah.
Uh, another big thing is for love, we see Cyril, we see Cassian and Bix, we
Yeah.
see Cyril and Deidre, but then we also have Vel and Cinta as well.
Yeah.
These lovers reunited after a gap. So uh Cassian comes back from Moran and just tells Luthen like they're not ready. They're not ready to be involved in any of this rebellion stuff. They start, which I like. They started too late. They started too late and they're rushing. And so he doesn't think it's worth doing any kind of further investment or getting them involved or trying to stoke anything down there. Uh, and Luthen tells him to uh, start thinking like a leader and not like a soldier.
Yep.
And
I like
that
that.
hey, this planet in play would be a huge coup for the rebellion. James, I assume were you on Luthen's side in this argument, or did
Yes.
you see Cassian's point of view on this?
No, I was Luthen's side. Luthen's older. He knows what's going on. He has wisdom that Cassian, to my knowledge, we don't know what he did last year either, but to my knowledge, he's not there yet. Cassian will get there. Obviously, we'll see that in Rogue One. But I feel like listen to Luthen. He is your mentor. He knows what he's talking about. So far, I haven't seen him steer anybody wrong so far. So I'm always on Luthen's side.
Yeah, but like, yeah, and I can see what you're saying, James, but I could also see what Cassian's saying is that when he does go visit the planet, I mean, he sees this Imperial facility like almost completely done being constructed. And so I could see what him saying like they waited too long. Like if they wanted to start putting up a fight for the planet, that should have been before all this stuff was being constructed. Now it's like they've got such a foothold in this that I think like any sort of kind of rebellion is just going to be quashed way too easily. And so to waste resources on that might not be worth it. I don't know. John, how do you feel?
I think that Luthen is not wrong, but Cassian's not right.
Right.
No, I just it's a weird situation because us as an audience, we have more information than them. So
Right.
like they're both right and they're both wrong because Luthen is not wrong. He's not wrong in having like faith that like maybe we can like bring this planet into the fold, which is a wealthy planet with status. It would shake up the galaxy if we got them on our side. But Cassian, I see where he's coming from too, where it's like, all right, he's not wrong either, really, because it's like they're not prepared. They did start too late. But they for both of them, none of them know that like the Empire is already like planning, like they're gonna let a rebellion build on this so that they have an excuse to now come in and crush the planet, which is what they really want to do. So it's like neither is right, neither is really wrong. Luthen, I get his side. Cassian, I get his side. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter because the truth is that we know as an audience is that the rebellion is just going to sacrifice this planet. So,
The Calcite, John, we got to
they
get
need
that.
the Calcite. Yeah.
You know, that Empire needs it. You got to get that energy, that renewable energy going. You got to got to get it.
Yes.
So Luthen not satisfied by Cassian's response coming back from the planet. It's like, yeah, well, you stink. And so I feel like for Luthen, he doesn't want he's not ready to eliminate Bix, but I also feels like he needs to uh help Andor or give Andor and Bix an opportunity to kind of fix whatever, you know, or try to help Bix in some way to try to get her out of this funk. Because I feel like he knows that Cassian, if he's worrying about Bix at all, it's not going to make him as effective as he wants him to be in the rebellion.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
He needs Cassian on his full game.
yes. And if he's worrying about Bix, come on now. So while he sets them up on a little mission to tide them over at the tail end of episode 6, he does send Vel and Cinta back to Gamora to help them try to start their first efforts in rebellion. And this is when we get to see these two lovers reunite after more than a year apart. Uh, I mean, they did see each other briefly as she was taking Tay away to Cinta was taking Tay away to do
To his
whatever.
death.
Yeah, whatever she did with him. Uh, but that was just like a little glimpse across a landing pad.
Yeah.
So this is a chance that they actually get to work together. And John, how did you feel these lovers did coming back together?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I loved seeing my girl Cinta again.
Mhm.
Vel has been honestly my least favorite character in this show from the start.
Uh,
But I thought that this was her this like her seeing her in this set of episodes here was her strongest, I think, performance for me. This was like the least that I disliked Bix throughout the entire series.
so
I mean Vel. Wow, I said Bix for some reason.
yeah,
The least that I
Yeah.
disliked Vel throughout the entire series.
for you, John, was it because we were just seeing Vel in action as part of the rebellion, as opposed to like being on Coruscant and being on the sidelines, you know, not actively in some mission, and all she can do is just, you know, be petty about not being with the person that she wants to be with?
I guess I felt like she wasn't doing that usual whining of like, all right, we're in the middle of like a gunfight, but I'm gonna stop now and be like, why aren't you giving me more attention? It's like, all right, Belle, like, come on. Like, she seemed a little bit more measured, more calm. Um, so I thought the scenes with her and Cinta were very good. And then I also thought that this was a very different Vel that like was leading a mission than we saw in season one with the Eye, right? Like Vel there, like it was very difficult for her to even make any decisions. And I was like, how do you have the command of this mission when you can barely even say like, yeah, it's a go or it's not a go or abort or go forward? It's like she couldn't even make a decision, and now I felt like she was really in command of the mission that she was leading. So I really liked that for Vel, and then I just felt like the overall interaction between her and Cinta, I thought was pretty good and effective too, honestly.
Uh, James, it's Star Wars is not known for their romance uh stories. But
They weren't first. At first, they were in the original movies.
I love you. I
yeah,
know.
I know.
I know exactly. I love it. I love that. It's a classic. Thank you, John. That was good. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Frank. Sorry, go ahead. What you say?
No, so how do you feel how they're being handled in Andor?
Well, they don't go fully into it. Obviously, they just kind of touch on them. They're none of them are traditional. Obviously, they're. I mean, you saw the two ladies kiss, of course. Like, that's for all the straight boys. Have a good time. All the straight nerds, you're gonna have a little time and two women kissing. Um, um, but I can think of those other two guys on the bad side. Are they together? Like they seem kind of gay to me. I don't know. Are they together? When they took the third guy when he went with homegirl, the daughter, to do all this stuff. I was like, are those two guys gay? They're working at that place. Oh, what's going on? But no, I mean, we don't want sappy romance. That's not why we watch Star Wars. It is not what we don't look for a Star Wars sappy romance. But you want human connection. So so you got to show some kind every once in a while human connection. So we got that with Bixen. They had their moment too. Remember they had their moments also. Last time and this time they had a little moment. That's I don't I think it was fine. It was like just the right amount. I don't need to see sweeping sex or shots or anything.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe some like Cinemax late night kind of butt thrusts.
I was like nipple.
Yeah.
Only hints of nipple, please. Thank you.
Uh,
No, I for me, I just it was okay. I mean, I don't need
no, I certainly don't need like proclamations of love and all this, like, somebody courting somebody or else. But I think it's, I think it'd be unrealistic to have this rebellion and not have people that are
Oh
in
yeah,
relationships and not see, how this affects various people on both. And what I like about it is not just the rebellion, but it's also the Empire too. We're seeing what relationships are like uh, on both sides. I mean,
I think it also kind of fit with some of the dialogue here, right? We talked earlier about the conversation between Luthen and Andor about how we're not droids, right? And it's like, all right, this kind of shows more, humanizes it more. This love story, these people that have cared about each other obviously a lot for a long time, separated because of this conflict, finally getting to reunite. And I thought that the scene between them where they were kind of settling in for the night and like finally getting to really like kind of talk, and Cinta was kind of saying like, "Oh, I'm sorry I hurt you," and then they had this sort of like passionate moment. I thought it was very effective actually.
you were.
And sort of, no, but I no.
Like he's one of the
Listen.
straight people. He's one of the straight guys. Like two chicks, sure.
But it did give me the feel of honestly like, all right, this feels like almost like a goodbye moment. Like this is not going to end well. They're finally like getting to be together. They're having this moment, and now I don't know if this is all going to work out in the end. Like I almost felt more. I wasn't as nervous when Cinta was being more cold towards her because it felt like that's not how their story is going to end. So when they finally get that moment together, it's like, all right, well, this is probably
well,
your last night, your last night together.
Dang.
uh, well, they are there to help this rebellion kind of do their first raid. They're going to stop uh, one vehicle that's transporting what they think are weapons, and the goal is like we're going to get them, and then we're gonna show them to the people on our planet, and we're going to turn the tide against the rebellion. or against the Empire. We'll show them, we'll expose them and stuff. And I'm thinking like, well, it's a little too late. I think it's again, like Cassian said, I think it's too late to be able to change anybody's minds on this. Everybody else has been just kind of like, we need that. We need like real evidence. And by the time everybody's kind of waited for real evidence on this planet, the Empire's just kept building their stuff. And so even if stuff were to come to light somehow, I think at this point it's too late. Nothing's going to change. Uh, but James, I will ask you because we do see as they're kind of going over the plan, they make a big point about saying nobody bring any blasters. Only Cinta and I are going to have them. That's it. You guys do your thing.
Sorry,
I mean, we all knew, nobody's going to be, somebody's not going to be listening to that directive. Uh, I'm going to ask you, our gentleman who does decide to bring a blaster when he shouldn't, at what point in these 3 episodes did you realize like this guy's this guy's going to mess stuff up for people?
Uh, um, I didn't catch all the stuff that everybody else caught. I guess I was so engrossed in the story that I was like, I didn't know Sid would be the one who was killed and all that stuff. I don't know. I was just kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, I remember him from four. Okay, I remember earlier, but I didn't think much about him. I didn't think much about it. I thought the exchange was interesting. I'm like, this guy's way bigger than you are. You're trying to pick a fight with, and I was trying to figure out where they were going with this. And then when he pulled out the blaster, I was like, here we go. I thought for sure he was going to die by the blaster. The big guy would take him over and he would die. And that's it. But when the shot went off, and I was like, they're both still standing there.
I will say for me, John, when I saw that guy, that kid, trying to sell those crappy spiders to people, even if that's like a cover story to be able to talk to possible recruits or operatives or change information, that's a terrible business. Who's buying those kind of weird spiders?
Looks
Why would you
weird.
buy a dead spider?
I know. I don't get it. It's so weird.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, it's it's a galaxy far, far away, so they have different standards. I'm not gonna buy a dead petrified spider and put it in my house, though.
Right. It's so that they're so and so I get they're trying to pick something that's like just would seem normal to them, I guess.
The Gorlectopods, they love them.
Right. It's like people think that we have dogs and cats as pets. I think it's weird. I think it's weird. So I'm like, I guess that's the point. It's like but if it's not weird to them, it's maybe weird to us, but it's normal to them.
You know what I actually thought was really cool too? That in the shop that guy Caro Rylance, I think his name was, like the leader of the rebellion on Gorman. In his shop, they had that like orb with a Gorman spider in it that was
Yeah.
like still alive, like making net webs. And I thought that was really cool. That I would buy.
No, that I'd buy. I'd buy that. Okay.
Uh, well, they pull off the raid somewhat, until, yes, as John was describing, one of the guys that we've seen earlier from a town hall meeting who's been very critical, uh, of everyone for not being, more resistant against, the Empire, but clearly is, they're setting up as a takeover. He gets involved. He's curious. A blaster's pulled. We see one shot fired. John, how do you feel about in 2 weeks in a row, at the culmination of the climax of our stories, we see both people get shot kind of off camera.
Oh, finally.
Mm, yeah, these have both been heartbreaking losses, I feel like.
Hmm.
And I think they're just gonna get worse. This was tough. I actually thought that Vel was gonna be the one because we had a scene between Mon Mothma and Luthen
Mhm.
where, you know, Mon is saying like, "Oh, I haven't heard from my cousin," and you know, she's just trying to be careful, and Mon is saying, "Well, I just want to tell her I care for her," and I'm thinking, all right, well, what's gonna happen to Vel? And then it ends up being Cinta, and it's just I feel like the way they've portrayed the way these people have died has been very effective. I have definitely felt like, damn, these are tough losses. Um, And man, I'm nervous about what's going to happen because I think in the first three episodes we just really had Brasso pass away, right? And then we had Cinta in these three. And I think in the episodes to come, we're going to start having more losses more frequently. Um, but it is interesting that they've been sort of like off camera, like you've said, like that. I don't really know what to make of that necessarily. Uh,
I mean, I guess there's only
except,
so many ways to die in the Star Wars universe, whether it's by
right.
a blaster
I
shot
guess
or explosion.
I wonder if it's also because these characters have passed, have died so far are more like secondary characters. Like there's a part of me that feels like Bix is going to get herself together here and then like sacrifice herself at the end of the season for Andor. And I don't think that's going to be the kind of thing that's like off camera that you don't see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could see some of these, even like Wilmon, right? We don't see him in Rogue One with Saw. I also was wondering if we were ever going to see like a young Jyn Erso, by the way, in this season.
It's true.
I know.
Uh, speaking of Wilmon, we do have his storyline where it is he was just there to drop off a bomb and go through 8 different variations and teach that to some other guy and get the heck out of here. But
Mhm.
good old Saw was like, no, no, no. You're gonna stay here until I tell you you're done, and then you can go. To which he tells the guy that he's learning, it's like, yeah, once you learn those variations, we'll just kill him. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I can't imagine like being a rebellion's got to be stressful enough, but being a rebellion and having a Saw in there being your kind of leader must be even worse.
It
Yeah.
was so bizarre to hear so it's interesting that they like showed us in these episodes how Saw ends up with that breathing tube in Rogue One
Oh
because apparently
yes.
he's been huffing rhydonium his whole life.
Yeah. That scene was
But what
crazy.
but one of the more interesting things about all this to me was that he refers to Rhydonium as his sister. And in the Clone Wars, we actually see him lose his sister in a battle. And I'm wondering if like he's using this like Rhydonium as a drug that helps him sort of like hallucinate and see his sister almost. And that's why he's so obsessed with it. And then he ends up years later, as we see him in Rogue One, with this breathing tube. I also have to say the show is doing a great job of making Forrest Whitaker look like a younger version of Saw in this because Rogue One came out a while ago and he looked much older and much more beat up in that movie than he does in this season of the show. So,
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So we see like after, Wilmot has taught this guy as best he can. The the guy that he's teaching to talks to Saw and goes like, "Hey, these are 8. This is 8 different variations for me to try to remember. That's a lot. If you told me just one, I definitely could tell you that I'm good to go on this. So if you tell me the location, we're ready to rock." Uh, Saw tells him, then later has both Wilmot and this guy come up and makes it look like he's ready to get Willow Wilmot, but surprise, surprise, he kills the other guy and find out that he's been a spy, feeding that information. So
That
Saw's
was
gonna take
a soccer.
advantage of it. Yeah.
That was a soccer. He leaves shit. Everybody else ain't even gonna kill him. Then all of a sudden he probably comes out like, Bob.
I wanted to like that guy too. I did. I wanted to like him.
Me too. What's his name? Pilates or something? What was his name?
Pluty.
Flutie.
Pluty.
Yeah.
uh, I'm really James. How are you reading Wilmot's actions? Like, we see him with Saw, and they're talking about as Wilmot's prepping that device. Uh, and he, Saw leans in, starts breathing that gas, and then convinces Wilmot to take off his mask. Now, he doesn't even ask him to. He just keeps talking about just what it's like breathing this in and what it means. And Wilmot just takes the mask off and starts breathing. I, I feel woman's not long for this world.
I like that's one of the lines I liked was from somebody said, you think I'm crazy? Because he was like, you're looking and talking a little crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, my sister, and also he goes, I am crazy. And he's like, he always says, I am. The revolution is not for sane people. And I think he was trying to imparts some wisdom in this weird way to him to say, okay, folks, just go all in. You want to be part of this? Just let it wash over you, so to speak, and go all in, because this is it. I mean, this is do or die. I mean, I've protested here in the past, but I've never fought for my life, rebellion for real. So I mean, I figured that's your whole life. That's everything. And that scene was so kind of cinematic the way they did it. The rain coming down. He's just like wheezing it in. He's like, drink it in. He's like, drink it in. Like, let it all come in. I loved it. I thought it was a great scene.
John, do you feel that Woman's been radicalized with that speech from Saw, or is he just like the tension of everything that he's involved in, and that he could be possibly just trapped with Saw for the rest of this rebellion, just makes him go like, oh, I'm just gonna just go nuts in this moment and take off the mask.
I don't think that he was radicalized here. I think that he was already a radical, um, who had not found his group yet. Because I feel like if we think back to season one, um, Wilmon lost his father, right? And then in that last episode, we saw him building a bomb that he threw into the Empire's base or whatever on Ferrix,
Mhm.
and nobody else built a bomb. You know, they were all ready to fight, but I feel like he was already more radical than some of the people that he was working with. And so while I think that Saw absolutely terrified him at the start, I think by the end, Saw had convinced him that that was where he belonged. And the taking off of the mask, I don't think Saw convinced him to take off the mask to like huff any Rhydonium. I think it was because he like Saw obviously was talking about this Rhydonium as he loves the smell and it's his sister and it's this and it's that. But then he started going into this whole rant about like, if you really want to fight for something, like if you really want to be a warrior. And I think that resonated with Wilmon because he's lost so much. And so I feel like that moment to me, that speech, that the end of that episode was Wilmon realizing like, no, I actually like I kind of belong with Saw's people because I'm already kind of more radical than the group that I was with because Bix and Brasso and Andor, they wouldn't build a bomb and then throw it into a crowd of people. I'll do that. Just like
Yeah.
Saw will do something like that while Mon Mothma won't. Like there are levels to this rebellion. Some are more radical than others. Wilmon has always been more radical than the people that he was with. And now he's come to the most radical person in the whole rebellion in Saw Gerrera. And I think that he's now realizing like this is actually where this is actually where I belong.
No, that's a good point. Uh, yeah, I will be. I mean, we didn't see him in Rogue One, but I will be curious to see. Uh, yeah, maybe he was just off camera. I wonder if he makes it that long. Because
Yeah.
I have a feeling being in Saw's rebellion, longevity is not really something you're planning on.
No, not at all.
The last other big storyline we've got in the course of these three episodes is what's happening in Coruscant. We got good old Mon Mothma. She's got to go. Yeah, the life of just a politician. You gotta go to all these parties. You got to go to all these new senators and just schmooze for a little bit. But we're also just seeing, uh, what it's like there in the kind of like their forum, where we've got the person that's running the Senate just up there speechifying about like the Empire, just naming it the Empire. Oof. And you can see that Monica's just like, this sucks. She knows that too many people are afraid to go against the Emperor at this point, and she's
Yeah.
losing any sort of pull or sway. All her political goodwill that she's built up is having such little effect, or it's having less and less effect with other senators as time goes on. Uh, John, how sorry did you feel for Mon in this episodes?
I felt for her. And it makes sense though, like why we see her in the original trilogy being one of the only senators to like really be
Oh,
involved in
right.
this rebellion because it's like nobody supports her. She's going to everybody. She's talking to senators that she has directly helped that the Empire posed a threat to, that she helped to advance their interests, and they're all saying no to her on voting on this very important bill. And it's like, all right, well, everyone's against me, even here in the Senate. So it's I did really feel for her, and I thought it made a very good illustration of why Mon eventually has to just leave and be full time in this rebellion and can no longer be a senator because uh, she doesn't have many friends there, it seems, anymore.
And dress a lot less fancier in the like she does in the original trilogy. She got to give up those swanky clothes.
Yes, she's one of the best actresses on the show. I mean, she
She's
emotes of
fantastic.
her face so well. And every exchange she has with somebody, I'm like intensely watching her because, like you said, she's in politics, and then she has this. Oh my God, there's a scene that made me laugh when Perrin and her were in the car talking about all these parties and how they're going to stop it everywhere, and he said something like, a year's worth of insufferability come down to one night or whatever. And she sighs. She goes, "You'll figure it out," or something like that. You'll figure it out. Like it's so funny. Like it was such a funny line. But she's looking out the window. She's like, like I'm not worried about you. You'll figure this out. Like it's like that's their marriage. Like it's a marriage literally of convenience. Obviously he's probably effing around and whatever. So I love that she's in this position of high power, and she's having to sneak around. Like I said, no one can talk freely. No one can do anything freely. It's all in codes and shadows, out and open.
Yeah. It the Perrin Mon relationship is really interesting to me. And even Tony Gilroy said in an article is that he wanted to, after season one, felt like Perrin was being treated, it was being written, it may have came off as like, oh, too much of a sourpuss. And so having him have more involvement in the wedding and giving, toasts and stuff like that, see more of his kind of worldview, or even if he's not in sync with Mon Mothma, it doesn't necessarily make him a bad person. It just makes him just a person who sees, just sees the world differently than Mon does. And so that while, yeah, this is a marriage of convenience, that I mean, I feel like there is some partnership that's there as two people who've been together for as long as they've had, whether there's if there was or is or uh ever was any sort of kind of genuine feelings between the two of them, who knows? I mean, I'm gonna guess not, given Mon Mothma's speech to her daughter and at
Yeah,
the first week's episodes
yeah,
for season two. It's like, yeah, you don't give that speech to your daughter if you're happy in your current marriage that's been
right,
arranged.
right.
Yeah. I don't hate him as much this season as I did last season,
Yeah,
though.
same here. I find him amusing. I find him amusing because I think
Yeah, yeah.
it's like he's serving a purpose that is for more for Mon that she's married this loveless marriage, and it's like it's another thing that she has to deal with, so to speak. And then I don't fully trust him. Like I don't fully trust him.
No,
Yeah,
me either.
What
uh,
that means.
but I like him being presented this way because I feel like if he was too over the top, kind of like as a bad guy, it would make it much easier for the audience to side with Mon. Like, oh yeah, she's got to get away from this guy. Yeah, it's easy to see why she would leave him and just go, abandon him and go full-fledged working on this rebellion. But if it kind of stays like this, but the events of the universe are kind of or the galaxy are kind of requiring her to step away. I mean, it's not going to be it's not as easy for her to leave that parent and her daughter behind to
Right,
just
right.
fully invest in the rebellion.
Like even these scenes where like they're in the car and they're trying to figure out how are we gonna make all these parties in the next 3 nights. Like, how do we have the time to make it there for all these parties? And he's looking at the list and he's worried about it too. Like they clearly have some kind of relationship, and it makes me feel like at some point in this season we're gonna have a really exciting scene where like Mothma gets found out and she has to make some dramatic exit, and we're gonna know, all right, that's where she never gets to see her family again. Like, and like because it still is a family as much as we've seen the struggles between her and Perrin. and the relationship that has been very strained between her and her daughter. Like it's still going to be a big sacrifice, I think, for her to leave them behind. And I feel like they're doing a good job of like kind of building that up right now. And I think there is going to be at some point a big dramatic exit for her where like we know that that's when Mon Mothma was not able to now continue being a senator, like in the Empire.
Uh, James, as an organizer, uh, how would you handle if you had 80 parties to go to over the course of 3 nights?
Well, I've actually had, as a parent of several kids who had several families, every year I was always doing this. So, and grandkids too, because my daughter had a child with one and then two with the other. So we had several families to go to for Easter's, Thanksgivings, and Christmases. Christmases. Um, Christmases. So we had to organize who gets what when, like who we go, because everybody people at different times, and so like, okay, well, we'll start out with these people. So it's us first, then we'll go to these people next. They were there for 2 hours. So we had to because the kids all had presents everybody said. So it was I've done that. I know what that's like. You have to kind of like assess each person's place, each of the importance of each one. Like what's one? Like they did that too in the car. Like which one's the most important? Where they have to be. You have to do all of that. You have to assess all of that, and then go. Okay, here's the order. And so they did that. That's why nobody did it. So it was very much like, well, you go here, we got so and so here. So that's what I did. I did all the time growing up. Yeah.
I love oh, we can't leave Scoldens early. Oh, we'll end the night there. I like that. Like we'll end the night there.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like you have to, and I've done that. You have to say, okay, these folks you'll never say goodbye. They take forever to say goodbye. So we'll go there last. Like or they're fun. They're the funny group. So we're going to them last because they're fun. These get my nerves. We'll go there first because we got to go. Like, or the food's nasty at that place. We ain't eating there. We'll go and eat over here. Like, so trust me, I did the whole shebang room. So I understand it. That's a parent. That's just being a parent. Well, it was a parent.
As a recent inductee to the Hall of Fame.
He is. That's right. You are. That's right.
How are you going to juggle like the 80 parties that are going to be thrown in your honor?
Oh man, maybe I'll send a nice video, saying thank you for your time. I appreciate the love, but I am a Hall of Famer and I'm very busy. So,
what you have to do, you have to do the Joan Crawford. So what Joan Crawford did was she said she was sick, so she could go to the Academy Awards. So when she won and the reporters all showed up, she had her best pajamas on. And when I saw it, oh my God, I won. I can't believe it. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back in with my children and relax. I'm still not feeling well. Thank you. You guys are, I love you and only you. And then she goes back to the house. That's what she did. She was like, that was her whole thing was like, I'm just gonna say whatever. I'm just gonna say I don't, feel good. you got John, you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Well, we do get to see Bail Organa briefly as they come in. A recast with Jimmy Smits unavailable due to filming.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about was it East New York that one and done
that show
that series that he was on but he was busy filming that when they were shooting this, so they had to recast.
He didn't have time to do a 30-second scene.
Well, I guess he's also going to be in one of these other upcoming weeks as well too, so he's going to have some other
John, he's busy working. Okay,
how prominent that will be, I don't know, but I don't know. I will be curious to see how this is handled if we do need Bail Organa in an episode of a series or film somewhere. Are they going to consider Benjamin the new guy, or this is just a one-off? And if we character back again, it's
I don't mind the recast. I really don't mind it, but I do miss Jimmy.
Well, here's the thing: you could be a total first Becky, second Becky situation, like on Roseanne. They would switch. She would switch them out. Sometimes it was first Becky, and sometimes it was second Becky. And then they also suddenly we can go, wow, I like the second Darren better on Bewitched. I mean, there was always some little funny things every once in a while. So I they can switch them out. They want to. I use one in one movie and one in one TV show. Just like they're both Organas.
That's true. Uh, but we do we get another special cameo as well too, and that's by Krennic, who happens to be at this party as well.
Yeah.
And I mean Davos Gulden's throwing the best parties, of course, getting the cream of the crop of the Empire dropping by. But Luthen and Clea, they've got an objective because Skulldun's all mad about one piece inside his gallery, not authentic, forgery or whatever. So now he wants to get every other piece authenticated just to make sure. Check the provenances, everything. And unfortunately, Cleo's like, oh well, there's a listening device in there. So, and side note, props to the actor playing Clea. I love all her handwork and all her gestures, all her busy stuff that she does when she starts working that little soundboard
She
to
did.
communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she's plugging stuff in, swashing it. She operates that, makes it look very lived in.
Yes. You always used to watch that on Star Trek, speaking of other things, when they're
Yes.
heading the floor. It's like, are they really pushing anything going on here? I love it.
No, yeah, you just saw like there were just some people like when they took the time to kind of like in their head work out their own way of how they
Yes.
would use
Yeah,
these boards. Man, it always looks cool. It's like I don't, it may not be real, but boy, you certainly make me buy into this world when it
I
feels
agree.
like you're actually making things happen with this stuff.
I agree. I like
Yeah.
that. I agree.
Uh,
I would say that Clea, I did not realize this until these episodes, but she's incredibly sexy when she's trying to remove a listening device from an ancient artifact. You know?
that is true. And I mean, we've got was it Lonnie? Is that his name? Or Brett or Ginger? Uh,
Yes, Lonnie.
Yes, who's sweating because Clay is just like, hey, guess what? You're going to be hanging out with me now because I need you to serve as a barrier so I can get rid of this listening device. But again, showing just how thorough she is. She is listen because I'm going to be explaining all this to you, and there could be a test later, so you better know everything I'm telling you as I'm also trying to get out of this listening device, as you're also kind of blocking everybody's view for me, doing all that. And Lonnie sweating through this. But she's able to get it out just in time. Uh, what I did like in that scene though is we really see kind of Krennic and Mon really going head to head, and you start seeing, some of the bits of the civility kind of dropping a little bit, still keeping it, but it's like Mon is somebody that is just not gonna. I feel like she can't help herself. She just can't keep pushing when she feels like somebody's trying to feed a line of bull, some kind of propagandic bull towards her. So
I,
yeah, John, were you rooting for Mon?
well, of course, of course. There was something about this scene though that made me feel a little bit, and maybe when we jump, because this was episode 6, when we jump a year, maybe this is the type of episode that kind of tells us why Mon has to leave the Senate, right? Because it's like if you're having this conversation with Krennic, how does he not have more suspicion on you now? How does Mon Mothma leave this party without having more heat on her?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is this the conversation right here in this party that we just saw? And in episode 7, when we pick up next week, Mon is no longer a part of the Senate. Like, are we even going to see her leave, or is she just going to be like, "Oh, I had to leave, and now I'm the leader of the rebellion"? Right? Like, I just
I agree.
how do you leave this party and then like Krennic doesn't send stormtroopers to your house?
Uh,
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
yeah, I mean, James, yeah, I mean that's uh for even if he doesn't really have a reason, it's just he's like, yeah, this looks like she's gonna be trouble if we don't do something about her now. So yeah, maybe why don't I just take her and get rid of her now? Just yeah, whether and I also don't know if the Empire feels emboldened to be in that place where they could like I don't know how much her being a senator kind of also protects her for the moment.
Right. Right.
For the removal or by some means of a senator, would that be still too early for the emperor to pull that kind of trigger? And not have other places start rebelling against that. Who knows? Uh, but they get the device out, and they even get just like a little chance as Clea and Luthen leave, and she tosses in the listening device, just like, oh yeah, we should have killed Krennic when we had the chance. Little do you realize how helpful that would have been, guys. You-
Yeah.
yeah,
Seriously.
you laugh,
Seriously.
but boy, that's you would have done some people some solids if you had done that that night.
Ugh.
So we come to the end of episode 6. We know we're jumping in a year. We've seen Bix now. She's killed the scientist and I assume by blowing up that building has I don't know if it's like stopped the use of that technology since we've never seen it used anywhere else in Star Wars. Maybe it that idea was since it was only around that one scientist kind of dies there and nobody else is
Well,
able
because
to create it.
and that is important too, because we saw in these 3 episodes that apparently they were planning to expand Dr. Gorst's experiments and make it a program rather than one man just, torturing people. So like maybe they stopped that from happening. I also still am kind of curious how they even got in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have loved to see how Bix and Andor actually infiltrated this apparently super, you
Yeah.
know,
Facility.
high security facility. And the fact that Dr. Gorst just literally walks in with like a pastry in his hand.
I know the patient is on top of the thing. It was like, oh, so eat that.
Yeah, but like, how did you get in there? I mean, I guess it's not important, but at the same
Uh,
time, I still want to know.
yeah. But I did like at least he kind of remembered her at the at the
Oh
end.
yeah, that was great. That was
I
great.
don't know you. Yeah, I
You look
think I know
familiar. You look
you.
familiar.
Yeah.
I know you,
Uh,
and now you're gonna die.
yes.
So while I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see the next week to see if she's got her groove back, or this is just a momentary high, and even this isn't enough to kind of pull her out of like just her own head and the trauma that she's been dealing with. So, uh,
Yeah.
James, what are you thinking for next week?
I never make any predictions because I have no clue. None.
No. All
I
right.
mean, because now we're halfway through the season. Like literally, we're halfway
Yeah.
through the season. So my thought, I'm just like, I'm not. I just go. My mind's gonna be open to whatever because it's another year. So we have no idea. It's year 3. We have no year. We BY 4. I mean, or 5. How is me next week? I have no idea. I literally have not put any stock in like trying to figure out what's going on because it literally could be anything. That's so crazy. It can literally be. I mean, a year is a long time. Like John said, anything could possibly. It could stay the same or change. And now we get into the second half. And now we're doing 3. I'm assuming we're gonna start seeing more and more stuff that's related to the movie. Like we're starting
Yeah.
going that direction. So I'm assuming it's gonna get a little accelerated, but it may not. I mean, it may not be to the last 3 episodes where it gets really accelerated. I have no idea. So I have no
This is also why we need an animated series to fill in
cheese
the
and crackers.
the gaps between these series
We're good.
3 episode drops.
No, we're good. We
And
need.
I
We
mean,
need a. I want a Leia series. That's what I want. Otherwise, she her growing. Let's see her.
Hey, Leia was in Rogue One. She could be in the
I know.
Andor
I know
series.
she was. She was Rogue One.
If we do an Andor animated series, Leia could be in that.
God.
and hopefully we would meet like very much infant baby fresh out of the womb Grogu maybe. So
Oh my God, that's so funny.
yeah,
Right? It's the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Same timeline, right? So,
there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
What's
I will say,
Ahmed Best up to too?
Oh
Tell
yeah.
us that.
Okay.
again, still my favorite stuff of the series is just that minutia of the Empire. When we're sitting there in those big conference rooms with everybody, and we see like Lonnie stepping in and saying like, "Hey, we've got too many people to interrogate. We're running out of room." Uh, yeah. But then the supervisor saying like, thank you for showing us how this room is supposed to work. It's like, we all come in here and we're all coming up with talking about I don't know. It's like you admire just like, hey, all right, yeah, they want to, best idea of the room, or you're raising up valid concerns. That's how we keep improving. But then you realize like, oh wait, no, this is for the Empire. They're
Yeah, I
actually
know. I get sometimes like I'm saying I want Cyril to make it in life, but he's a bad guy. So I'm
yeah.
like, it's not fair at all. I don't want to say I don't want him to succeed, but I want him to succeed. I don't want him to succeed.
But that moment from Lonnie too showed how right Luthen was during his speech, that the rebellion needs people like him, because Lonnie really is good at what he does.
Yeah.
He spoke up in that room when no one else wanted to. And the minute he raised his voice, everybody was like, "Oh fuck." And then the supervisor was like, "You know what? Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you for reminding us." And it's like, thank God he's still in there. Because what if Luthen said, "Yeah, you know what? You can go." Where would we be now? Like if he wasn't there still. So
Yeah, I hope our boy Lonnie makes it through, but who knows?
I know.
Anybody go? I will be curious to see if Luthen makes it all the way to the end.
Right. I'm saying there's that. I know. There's
I
that.
don't know. It's gonna be I as much as I man, it's nice to be able to settle in, despite doing an after show and having to cover 3 episodes each week. But having such a nice big meaty chunk of Andor to enjoy each week is awesome. But
I
man,
always love a meaty chunk.
I was like, I'm kind of there.
yeah, it's just a very girthy serving of Andor. Uh, but to know that it's 2 weeks, 2 more weeks, and that's it.
That's it. I know. That's so
I
crazy.
know.
That
Yeah.
That's
is
a bummer. That's a bummer.
Oh,
so
so to
crazy.
have like I'm not ready for Luthen to die yet. Even in 2 weeks, I'm not going to be ready for him to go.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for anyone to die. I'm still not ready for Brasso or Cinta to die, and they've already died.
Right. They're already gone.
So
Yeah, and
yeah.
just knowing how we jump a year, we're going to be just jumping into these last critical days before
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna, we're gonna be coming in hot, like Luthen on the run or something, or he's just doing one last mission or whatever it is.
Right.
I don't know, but it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen so fast, and I'll be very disappointed.
Yeah.
I'll hold you. Don't worry.
Man. I'm gonna go cry for a little cry. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Andor After Show right here on JLJ Media. We will be back next week at the same Star Wars time, same Star Wars channel, breaking down episodes 7 through 9 of Andor. Whew, getting ever so closer to the
Crazy.
to Rogue One.
I know.
Plus, as we talked about last week, if you didn't join us, that we will be coming back again the week after the season series finale, I should say, of Andor, and doing a rewatch of Rogue One now in context of having seen all of Andor, and
Yeah.
how everything is led up. And for me, as we talked about, it's been the first time that I've seen it since it was in the theaters. So I am looking forward to watching it in this new context, having all of Andor.
Me too. And what's also great too, we've done it from other series. We just love each other so much. We've done other
Yeah.
series where we did a post full season kind of overview.
Yeah.
We've done that too, of course. So that's a possibility also, where maybe the week after that we'll just do a whole like, okay, now we've seen the whole season and it sat with us for a few weeks. Like, what do we think?
Our whole series too.
Or whole series. Oh, that's oh my gosh, right, it's the end of the series. That's right. I mean, so that could be some. Yeah. So we might have us for a few more weeks.
There you go.
Into the summer.
You can't get rid of us that easy.
No.
For those of you joining us here in the chat, thank you so much for watching us live. This will be on JLJ Media's YouTube page, as well as being a podcast tomorrow as well. So if you're just enjoying it with your ears, no worries. We're happy that you're listening.
Your ear
Absolutely.
hole.
Yes. Putting us ever so lovingly into your ear holes.
Yeah.
Turn off the lights, Frank.
Turn off the light.
Spread those ear holes.
Oh my God. If you have a hole, we're gonna be in it.
That's right.
Like, oh my God. Yes.
Yes. But thank you for
He's like, you got Frank Fletcher. He's like,
that's right. Talking about all these holes now. And of course, if Andor has just whetted your appetite, has whet your appetite for more Star Wars content from JLJ Media, we've got you covered as well. We've covered all the Star Wars live action series. So if you want to do a deep dive into other shows and hear our thoughts and opinions about them, the world is your oyster on JLJ.
Sure it is.
Absolutely.
Sure
Yeah, there may
But
be
if
an
you wanna follow
episode or
any of
two
us,
out
either-
there.
Oh,
Maybe an episode or two
That's-
out there where I enjoyed too much spice that night.
the one
so.
episode for sure. That is hilarious. Oh my God, I'll never forget that. Oh my God. My sister was watching. She's like, "What happened? What's wrong with them? What's going on?" I go, "I don't know. Something's happening. Something's happening on camera." You want her moments.
Yeah, but if you want to enjoy any of us or talk to us or reach out, share a tasteful picture or a family recipe that you think that we would love to make ourselves, John Dunphy, where can they find you?
The only place where people can really find me right now is Instagram, at JDunn89, or TikTok actually, which is at I am Dunphy. Both places I like to post pictures of nature and play music, and that's pretty much where you can find me. That's it.
Sing a little ditty.
A little bit of ditty, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Little Diddy? No, we don't know. We don't do that.
no, maybe just keep it to Jack and Diane.
Yeah.
Our Sith Daddy, James Lott Jr., where can they find you?
So next week will be the 8th. Yes. My birthday will be 2 days after that. So
my sister's birthday also.
Yes,
birthday buddies.
So I take Team Taurus. So it'll be one of my last evenings at 55. I can't drive 55. Yes. But you can follow me, James Lott Jr., all over the godforsaken land. Also, this Sunday, because it's May the 4th be with you, a new episode of Darth Vader is Your Father will be out on Sunday. Sunday. I'm doing a show and tell. So I might wear the robe, the cape, and that's it.
Excellent.
Look at that. I like that, where they tell James something and he shows them something.
Yeah, exactly. Your ear holes. Frank, where can I find you, Frank Moran?
Find me on all the medias at Happy Go Jackie. That's going to do it for this episode of the Andor Season 2 After Show. We'll be back here next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, right here on JLJ Media. Until then, may the Force be with you always.
May the Force be with you.